What's happening, everybody? This is Bill, the Fox Body Phantom. We're up here at Bass tonight to shoot this cruise night. Now, I thought this would be the biggest night of the year, but here's the reality. It looks like it's gonna rain. It's like 65 degrees and like 25-mile-an-hour winds, so I hope we get a good turnout. I'm not sure if we will, but I will tell you, even if we don't get a ton of cars here, I've already seen some very cool stuff, plus some very unique stuff, so I'm gonna go through and shoot a couple of cars right away. I'll come back at the end, kind of talk about what we saw. So if you haven't done it so far, please hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you at the end of the night. Here with this 2023 Challenger Hellcat Red Eye that has been converted into a convertible, right? They did not make these from the factory. This is actually an aftermarket company that created this car. I believe it's actually on the back here. I got a chance to talk to the owner for just a second. So it is like drop top customs. So we have a purple Red Eye Hellcat in a convertible, right? And I was talking to the owner as soon as he got out. He's like, brother, this isn't even my fastest car. I've got like an 800 plus horsepower Trans Am. This is on the road beside me. So cool. You know, there's actually another Scat Pack right next to us in white. And I like this because this kind of gives the vanishing point vibe. This one's really simple. But when I saw them together on the road, and I'll tell you right now, I owned a 2012 RT. I did not love the fender arches when they first came out, the wide fenders. But I think now, as the Challenger's been out for, 15 years, I actually think those fender arches do a really nice job of making the car look a little bit more aggressive, a little more sinister. Not that this isn't a beautiful car. I said all along, I think out of all the retro-inspired hot rods, that the Challenger, I think, was the best looking version. And like I said, this is very much a vanishing point type vibe on this car. So very, very minimalistic, right? Just a white car with the black chin spoiler, the simple wheels. But man, this convertible, like I said, it sounded amazing on the road. An 800 horsepower convertible Challenger in bright purple. You cannot ask for something that's gonna draw more attention and look any cooler than this. I'm gonna talk about my favorite American car ever made, which is the 05-06 Ford GT. Now, this is the best version of the best car, in my opinion, in the Gulf livery. They made these cars in 05 and 06. When Ford launched this car, they were like $150,000. This was a tribute to the Le Mans winning, GT40s. Now, Ford went away from some of the compromises on the GT40s. The car was a little taller. The original GT40 would have only sat 40 inches tall, which, believe it or not, is a good like 6 inches shorter than this car. And it had that double bubble setup. Now, this still has the setup to kind of, mimic what they did with the race car. So you see this piece on the roof actually cuts into the top. It looks incredible. And you see this is also the 5.4 liter supercharged V8, 550 horsepower. These cars, when they were built, again, were designed to be a tribute to the original GT40s, but in a way that could actually go in and win Le Mans again today. So they've actually done the same thing again in 2017 with the GTs. But in my opinion, out of all the American cars ever made, I think the original Ford GT was phenomenal, but the proportions are just maybe a little bit too small, right? I think Ford did everything right with this car. Obviously the 6-speed manual transmission, the giant brakes, the beautiful wheels, these FR500 wheels, which would become prevalent on a lot of the other cars out there. The Mustangs would take advantage of them. The inside of the car just looks, again, so proper to that time. Everything's designed to be analog with a lot of analog switches. You can see these like rivets or divots in the seats that were designed to mimic what they'd have back in the race cars to allow some cold air to get in, because these drivers would be racing for 24 hours. So these cars were designed to take all the best features of the race cars from the 60s, but make it more streetable. Now, the downside to this car is there's a couple. And if you ever watch Top Gear, you'll see they always talked about it did have a small fuel tank for a car this large. So this wasn't a GT car that you could go out and drive a long distance. But this is much more usable than the 2017 to newer GTs, because it actually does have space to put some luggage in. You could take this car away for a weekend. It is a little bit maybe a better driving car. It's very wide, but again, as you take a look at it, the proportions just look great. Again, it's a little taller, so a little more livable, and just an absolutely stunning car. And again, in this livery, the best version of this. So I'm sitting inside the Ford GT in the Gulf livery, and man, this is as cool as I would ever imagine. I'm getting, those vibes. I played the video games for years, sitting inside this car. And as you sit into it now, the owner was telling me the seats aren't particularly comfortable, and he is right. This is not the most comfortable car, but I don't care. I could drive this car all day. Like the feeling you have in here, and as you take a look above you, again, very tight inside. I'm a bigger guy, so not a ton of room in the shoulders, but when you look at it, I mean, the shifter is so cool. Like I said, the toggles, everything's very is very analog. This does have the Macintosh stereo, so the upgraded stereo. It has the subwoofer right behind me, right? So the upgraded, everything on this is just exactly the version I'd want of this car. Like I said, this was a 4-option car. Now, the Gulf livery did not have one of those options because you could not get the racing stripes because you got the Gulf livery, which is absolutely the color you would get. But this does have the painted calipers. It does have the subwoofer. It does have the Macintosh stereo. So it has a lot of the options in the car. And again, as you look at it, just super cool. Thank you to the folks over at Holmes Transportation. This is their car. They let me sit in it, so thank you very much. Very cool car. Like I said, my favorite car of all time. It's so funny. I feel like every time that Ford GT Gulf is here, that we also get some of the Cobra R's up here. Again, I've shot the Cobra R's a few times, but you always have to share them when they're here, right? This is the 2000 Cobra R. So the ultimate Mustang up and really till the GT500s came out, 390 horse, 390 foot-pounds of torque, independent rear suspension, 4-wheel disc brakes. Again, this car was like big money. It was like, you know, this was double the regular price of a Mustang. I think they were like 50 or 60 grand new, but this was like the ultimate Mustang. They made 300. Out of the 300, I know that 7 to 10 are still in New England, but everything on this car was just super cool at the time, right? You had the side exhaust from the factory, like I said, the bigger motor. This was still the, you know, the most horsepower they really had in a Mustang up until that time with 390. And again, the Cobras that would come out right after, was actually, these were 385 and 385. Then the Terminator Cobras would come out in 03 and 04, they were 390, so they were a little more horse. But this was naturally aspirated. This thing was just a monster. And again, this was designed to be the ultimate track car that Ford would put out back in that time. And I think I think everything's held up well on it, right? Everything's special on the car. It does have a fuel cell. The fuel cells were probably the one thing on these cars that were known to have issues over time, where they would deteriorate, so you need to get a new fuel cell. But the special wing, the special wheels, the special hood that would only ever be on these cars, the special front air dam, like everything on this car was absolutely special to this car. And again, even though I've covered them previously, I still think they're some of the coolest cars ever made out there, and they've just done an incredible job with these. Look at this gorgeous 1968 Charger in black. This is the RT package with the 440. This car new was $4,400. You can see it right here. This car was sold out of New Bedford. Again, we talked about these Chargers quite a bit, and again, there's a debate on which is the best looking. You know, the people love the 68, the 69. The 70 gets a little less love with that full like chrome front bumper. 68 and 69 is tough. I actually like the front end on both of them a ton. I think they're both gorgeous, so it's tough to kind of pick one. You know, again, I always go back and forth. I'm not going to commit to one or the other. I think they're both incredible, but you take a look under the hood. This is a very nicely restored Charger. It looks gorgeous. The 440 motor, power brake car, 4-barrel, right? So it's not a you know 3 2-barrels. It's not a 3 2-barrel car or a dual quad car, but an absolutely beautiful version of the car. And in black. Black's such a tough color on this car. If you look at it down the side, this thing is like laser straight too. Black interior. So this is a manual as well, which is very cool on this car. You know, a lot of these 440s were automatic, so this is a manual. You know, a lot of the drag racers still, even back then, liked the automatics, but again, the 440s, the manuals were much better back then. They were just way more robust, and they didn't have the lag with the torque converters you had on the automatics back then. This car is just absolutely beautiful. And again, everything, you take a look at the lines all the way down, like laser straight for a black car is so challenging. They just did a great job on this one. Beautiful car. So I will hit one caveat on this car because it's cool. Got a chance to talk to the owner. He owned the car new, bought this car new, sold it, lost track of it for 45 years, got it back in 2015, restored it over 5 years. So that's such a cool story to see the comeback on this car. I absolutely love the fact that he got the car that he wanted again, kind of reacquired that car that he had before. It's awesome. And so again, check out this other very cool Mopar coming in, this gorgeous Roadrunner right here. Man, I love the stance on this car. I also love the MEEP license plate. This thing is sick and it sounds incredible. Now, we were just talking about the styles on the Charger. We also have a 70 pulling in right here behind us. Now, we can talk about the front end on that one in just a second, but we do have a 70. So again, RT 68 to 70, some beautiful stuff up here tonight. Really cool Mopar stuff. Again, this is like a 440 car, so super cool. Again, you don't, this is some really nice Mopar stuff up here today. This thing sounded awesome when it came in though. pistol grip 4-speed, dog dish hubcaps, 446 pack. This thing is awesome. And then again, listen to this RT, guys. And you can see that front end we were talking about on the front, where it was like more the solid bumper all the way around. Again, both still absolutely gorgeous. Awesome group of Mopars over here. Take a Grand National over T-Type, but this would make me pause. This car is gorgeous. What's interesting on this car, he's got the weld wheels on it. He has left the stock drum brakes on the back. This has like a blue-gray color. The interior is super sharp. It is a sunroof car. It looks pretty factory on the inside, other than a couple of extra gauges, but you have the T-Type badge. These seats look like they would have been the right seats for the Regal back then. He has put the Turbo 6 logo on the mats, which I like. He also has on the front license plate. These wheels look great. We got some Wildwood brakes up front. We put the chrome 3.8 turbo badge on the hood. Under the hood is super clean. And again, you can see that Turbo 6 license plate in the front. Now, this was a Grand National, right? For all intents and purposes, this was the same car as the Grand National. The difference was you didn't get the whole blacked out treatment. You still got the chrome bumper. So it was a little bit more of a sleeper. You didn't get the Turbo 6 logos on the seat or on the steering wheel, but you did get the T-Type logo, which looked very cool on this car. And man, like I said, this would be tough to turn down. As much as I love a Grand National, and I do, this is a T-Type that would make me pause if I was given the opportunity to take this or a stock Grand National. Now, in fairness, I'd probably still take the Grand National because I like the sinister look and I do like the Turbo 6 logo. But whoever built this car, you did a phenomenal job and it looks absolutely incredible. All right, guys, the next car up here we're gonna share is this beautiful 55 Bel Air. This is owned by a friend of ours who works for the Easton Lions Club, who's helped putting that show on September 14th. This is a pretty cool car. Now, cool story on this car, she acquired this for her parents to use. She has a 65 Mustang, that one we showed on the video the other day. That was a little too rough for them to drive. They bought this Bel Air, but they're still in the same boat where her parents just are a little older. They're not using the cars right now. She loves this car. She's been driving it pretty regularly, but she is interested potentially in selling it. It is available. She said, you know, if I can get 55 for my 55, then I would absolutely entertain the conversation. Now, the car is a 350 car. It has a turbo 350 transmission, power brakes, power steering. So, you know, a great looking version of this Bel Air. This kind of gunmetal gray looks great on the color. It kind of is very well color matched to the wheels. You know, essentially the old school like rally sport wheels with the trim ring and the center cap. Really nice interior. All the chrome and exterior badging looks pretty sharp on the car. So again, if you're looking for a cool Bel Air, and again, I like the 55s and 56s a little more than the 57s because they're a little more rare. This one's in beautiful shape. So if you're looking for it, send me a note over. I will absolutely have her give you a call. But again, this is a 55 for 55. It's a super cool car. If you're looking for one, let them know. Hey guys, wish me luck here because I am right on top of the speakers and it is loud. But I want to shoot this 61 Continental. It's got the Lincoln 430, suicide doors in this very cool teal color, 20-inch one-piece wheels that were custom made for the car with the white walls. I saw this car from far away and it just looks super cool. These Lincolns always look cool anyway, they just did. But this in this customized version with the air suspension and these 20-inch wheels looks incredible. I am a big fan. I don't usually love big wheels on these classic cars, but this one I will make an exception. I think it looks great and they did an awesome job of integrating the custom style of this car, but keeping it, you know, true to what the originality of the car would be. I love the interiors in these. They're super cool. And again, you can see under the hood is beautiful. Everything's been, you know, polished. It looks awesome under the car. So a very cool version in the back. So he just opened the trunk. We saw it under the hood and the car itself, but the trunk is also gorgeous in here. Everything's been customized, obviously custom stereo. We have a full-size spare with that same 20-inch wheel, the airbag setup. So wanted to share that because it is very clean under there and it looks very. I'm going to shoot a couple of original Fords up here today. We have an '89 Foxbody LX. This is owned by the gentleman who's had it for like the last 15 or 20 years. He actually bought it from the guy that has the turbo coupe right next to us. So it's an automatic. You know, it's a very cool car. You know, I like the originality on these, and I've told you I like the 10-hole wheels. We were looking at this, so the 140 mile an hour speedometer. It does still actually have a So this actually still has the non-airbag steering wheel. Now, again, halfway through 89, you would see the airbag steering wheel come in. So this leads me to believe this is a early production 89 with the 140 mile an hour speedometer. And then right next to it, we have an 88 turbo coupe. I think this is one of the best looking body styles of the 80s. I absolutely love these wheels. They are 5-lug. Now, this is a 2.3 liter turbo, the same motor you would actually have in the SVO. When you take a look at the interior on this, which is kind of cool, it's kind of similar to the Mustang gauges, but a little bit more rounded, a little bit more like futuristic. But I love the turbo gauge on the bottom to give you the boost indication. And this is a 5-speed manual car, so this car is super fun. So when you look at this is pretty neat because, again, you're getting a lot of the cool features from the SVO Mustangs and a little bit of a slipperier body. And again, this was a car that just dominated NASCAR back in the 80s. These Thunderbirds were so aerodynamic, they were just crushing everything that, you know, GM was putting out at the time. Guys, I'm gonna shoot this gorgeous 72 Chevelle SS convertible. A car you don't see all the time. Now, this car is cool. The guy who owns this is actually a custom car builder. I've shot 2 of his vehicles before, his gorgeous silver truck that he had and his beautiful like 49 truck that he had the 38 grill on last year. Out of all of them, this is probably my favorite, only because I've told you guys many times, Chevelles are one of my favorite cars of all time, and this one is incredible. So this one's been built up. It's over 490 cubic inches, tons of power. It does have a 5-speed manual in the car, but I like that he's kept the outside of the car so original. Like, the wheels look great on the car. I love this like dark green. We do have the white, you know, the white racing stripes with the cowl induction hood. You can see it is a manual car. But everything else is pretty much what you would have had in 72 from Chevy and the Chevelle. Again, you've got the SS gauges. You do have the white interior with the white top. Again, this is just a cool combination. When you look at these cars, again, they did not make a ton of Chevelle SS convertibles. The SS convertibles are incredibly rare, so there's a lot of value in these cars. And then when you get a 454 SS, and this color combination is incredible. I love it. And again, you look at the outside. What I love about the work that he does on his cars is he has the ability to do amazing customs, but he also does such a good job of keeping it to whatever the theme you want to have it as. So if you want it to be a wild custom, you can, or if you want it to be a custom that no one would know, it's absolutely incredible. Now, we are going to take a look at this very cool 55 Bel Air right next to him. So let's give some old Chevy some love. And what I like about this car is just the simplicity of it. It is a beautiful car. I love all the high performance stickers on the window like we would have all done back in the day. You know, high-rise manifold, a pretty large chromed air cleaner, Cobra SS wheels, white and blue, great color combination on the car. Again, this looks like a very fun, not a highly modified resto-modded car, but a resto-modded car that you can enjoy. It looks great. The interior is beautiful on the car. Again, another manual car, so we've got a 4-speed. And I love the interiors on these cars, right? They just look great. So again, a couple of very cool Chevys from that muscle car era, the beginning of the muscle car era to the end of the muscle car era right here. All right, so what's cooler than one 71 C3 Corvette in green? 2. And this is a cool version. We just got a chance to talk to the owner of this one. He's only had it a couple of months. This is a 350 car. He's wanted to have this car for a long time. It's a 4-speed car, so it's a 350 manual. And then right next to us, this is an amazing car by our friend Bruce. We've shot a few of his cars. And this is the big block version with the 454. This one's incredibly original. So, you know, just cool to see these two together. This is also, so this one's actually an automatic. So we've got the big motor with the automatic. Now this car new was $7,500 in 71. That was such a ton of money back then. But again, you got the big motor, 365 horse, which again was underrated. These guys all underrated their horsepower ratings for insurance purposes. But again, these just look so cool. We were just chatting, these were the, you had one more year on the full steel bumper cars in 72 before you just went to the rear steel bumper. In 73, you'd lose the steel bumper in the back, and you would also lose the gills on the Stingrays, and they would go to the one wide opening that would pretty much stay with the Stingrays or, the C3s until the end of that generation. But it's very cool to see these together. And this is a great color. It's cool to see these two colors together. And, I get to talk, Bruce has a ton of cool stuff, but getting to talk to the gentleman over here with the new 71, he just got it 3 months ago. That was his dream car, and I'm super happy for him. These both look great, so very cool to share these two 71 Corvettes with you. Guys, I am gonna do my very best to give you the accurate year on this Camaro. With it being customized, it's so hard for me to tell, but I'm gonna guess a 67. Now, 67 would have had the wing windows, but that's pretty easy to change on these. But it would not have had the marker lights on the side. So having no marker lights, but again, that's also relatively easy to change on a custom. So I'm guessing a 67, but I'm not 100% sure because it's been customized. But I wanted to share it because this is a beautiful version of this car. You can see the carbon fiber on the hood. You know, obviously the aftermarket motor with the supercharger, the Wildwood brakes, the really nice wheels. Like, this is just a beautiful version of a customized Camaro in gunmetal gray. It looks incredible. You know, it's got the really nice looking seats inside. I love the manual transmission. This is just a gorgeous custom version of this Camaro. But like I said, I can't give you an accurate year. I am not sure if it is a 67, 68, or 69 because they've removed some of the key indicators that I would have, but I still think it looks awesome, and I don't care what year it is. It's just an incredible looking car. We do have a little teal Fox. We've got an early gen SN95 Cobra. We got a Mach 1. We got a GT350 leaving. So there's some very cool stuff here. A very nice Porsche, then a GT4. The 918 Cayman S, okay. So some very cool stuff. This is a pretty cool flower car right here. That looks great. I just want to shoot it leaving. It's super different. Cool. How you doing? Something different and unique here. This very cool 1980 Trans Am, which makes this unique and different, is a 4.9, so the 305 with the non-turbo. Most of these would have been turbo cars. I got a chance to talk to the owner. He has 3 of these cars. He has an 81, which is also a 305 4.9 car, and he has a 79, which is the 6.6 automatic in black and silver. He's a Trans Am guy. He's had this one for quite a while. This is a car that kind of mimicked what he had in high school. But what's cool on this car is, again, it's been kept pretty much all original. It's like 30,000 miles. I love these snowflake wheels on the car. I think they look absolutely incredible. And again, with this car, with the blue, I do like the blue with the silver. I just think it's a really cool color combination you don't see all that often. Now, this is a pretty simple version of an 80 Trans Am, right? Non-T-top car, the base V8 motor, automatic transmission, but you look inside, right? It's got the CB radio. It's got the turned aluminum dash. The interior looks great in the blue. Like, it just looks very cool. You know, and in these cars, again, you didn't need to add a ton, but when I see these, again, when I see a 4.9, my expectation is usually a turbo car. Now, in 81, if you went to the turbo car, you would have had the more aerodynamic wheels. I actually wildly prefer the snowflake wheels. I think they look so much better on this car, especially in this version. These wheels are incredible. Not sure if they're original to the car, but if they are, well done keeping them looking as nice as they do. And again, well, I told you, you know, obviously my preference would be like the 78, 77, 78s. These still look great. And, you know, again, this was what I would grow up with as a kid. I used to walk by a house every day, and they had an 81 turbo Trans Am, and they had a 78 anniversary edition Corvette, right, in that black and silver. And I would drool over these cars every day. The turbo Trans Am they had was a white, but this looks great in silver. Again, finding something that's a different color that looks incredible. Love the bird. Like, the bird and the blue on this looks absolutely phenomenal. And again, you're not going to see a lot of TA 4.9 cars that don't see it. All right, guys. So my phantom favorite car of the night is going to be this 66 Olds Toronado. You know, someone made me smarter and helped me understand that this is a special edition color on this car. These cars were so far ahead of their time. 425 motor, tons of horsepower, like 375 horse, 475 foot-pounds of torque, front wheel drive. But check out how beautiful this car is. Again, now I am cheating a little bit. You guys know my favorite car up here was that Ford GT, but you're sick of me talking about the Gulf livery Ford GT, so I'm not gonna make that my favorite car up here tonight. That's my favorite car of all time. But when you look at this beautiful 66 Toronado, again, super clean under the hood. Like I said, the big motor, front wheel drive, love the wheels on this. You can see the big drum brakes underneath these wheels on both sides. I love the body lines on this. You know, I was an Eldorado guy for a long time, and I've wanted a 68 Eldorado. And over the last 2 years, I think I want to try to find a 66 to 68 Toronado instead. The front end on these just speaks to me even more than the Cadillac does. I just think they look so cool. I love the rear end on these cars. Again, the rear end of these have grown on me like crazy. The interiors on these are absolutely beautiful. So I'm happy to share this one with you, my phantom favorite of the night. I just think it looks absolutely incredible, and I love this color on this car. Man, how cool is this 80s Trans Am hot rod? giant motor, huge blower. These wheels that are straight out of these saw blade wheels are straight from like 1992, and I love them. Now they are, looks like they say Boyd's wheels, so they might be Boyd Coddington Customs. And again, they might be a little newer style, but man, they give me complete, these vibes that we had, all these wheels in the 90s had this design. They blacked out the spoiler, which was kind of original. Now these had a an automatic pull down on these hatches. It looks like that one maybe isn't working, or they've just left it open. But I love the style on this, right? The paint's super cool. Again, straight 80s, early 90s, you know, street rod vibes. The side exhaust, the big motor. The interior looks pretty factory and original to, you know, what the car would have been. So it's cool to see all this customization on the outside. And then it's been kind of left, you know, mostly original inside. Obviously that giant roll bar in the car is not original, but this is a very neat, you know, 80s Trans Am hot rod in that blue. It looks very cool. All right, check out this very cool Cougar. You know, this car kind of drew me in from pretty far away because of the color and the wheels. But as I got closer, I noticed there's some very cool details on this car. Obviously, we have this gorgeous, like, copper color paint with the black racing stripe. The black wheels, kind of like an FR 500 style wheel. But as you look inside, the interior is super customized. So we've got like racing seats. It looks like we have a 5-speed manual transmission, custom gauges. It actually looks very nice and cohesive inside. You know, it looks like they've kept the factory back seats, but they've done a good job of integrating the racing seats, like color-wise, into that. We've got the Cougar dash. They've changed the, you know, the door handles over to black along with the mirrors. Did the same thing with the grille. They've kind of customized that grille to match the rest of the style of the car. So they body match the color of the bumpers. They've kind of blacked out everything else. And you can see under the hood, we have this gorgeous Cobra motor. So this is a pretty neat custom car. You know, when I walked by it a couple of times, I thought it was kind of a cool resto mod, but as I see more and more, they've done a really good job making a cohesive, customized version of this, and it looks great. Love the color on it, love the motor, love that's a manual car, so very cool. All right, guys, thank you for checking out the show tonight. Tons of cool stuff. We're gonna finish up in front of these beautiful Mopars. There was some incredible stuff up here tonight. You know, you can see right now the weather is actually cleared up, but we're actually getting close to getting dark. So you're gonna see a lot of people leaving soon, but this was a great show. I got to talk to a bunch of really cool people, as always. I will tell you again, thank you to Holmes Transportation for letting me sit in that Ford GT. It's my dream car. Hopefully we can do, you know, some more stuff in the winter and talk a little more about your beautiful car collection. But again, guys, you can see as we head out, check out this amazing group of Mopars, just incredible. Happy to share these with you. If you haven't done it so far, please hit that subscribe button. Also, I would tell you, we will be at 2 shows this weekend. We will be in Taunton at the Biker Church for their show on Saturday, and we will be at the JC show in Foxboro, at downtown Foxboro on Sunday. I will be judging that show. If you see me, come on over. Let's talk about your car. Let's shoot some video. Great talking to everybody. We'll talk to everybody soon.